Hello, hello, hello. All right, everyone. All right, over here, over here. All right. So, yeah, we'll get started in a couple of minutes. So please take some seats, and there's plenty of room to sit here and on the left side too. Um, we'll have plenty of time to network and have more conversation. So please come over and take your seats. We'll start in a couple of minutes. All right. So awesome. How's everyone today? All right. Are you tired? Right. Well, we'll try to make this session engaging and exciting. So hope you'll go away from here with some fresh thoughts, good conversations, and new connections, and also some things that you learn from people here that you shared some experiences and maybe enriched some other founder in this community or some other people in this community. So I hope you all have a wonderful session today. I'm Suman Poluri. I run this awesome startup meetup, and I've been running this for the last 7 years. And thanks to Capital Factory for giving us this space for all these 7 years. We've been, in this floor and also in a couple of floors for the last few years. But then, it's a really nice space. For those that are new to Capital Factory, do check it out. There's a lot of events going on here. There's a lot of activities like mentor connections, the people and startups that work here, so you can make new connections here too. And there's also co-working space, and there's a lot of community events that happen here. So all in all, the best place to be here in Austin, if you're an entrepreneur or want to plug into the startup ecosystem. So that's capitalfactory.com, and we're also thankful for Founder Dash for also sponsoring some of the events. Recently, they are coming up with some tools to make the founders' journey and experience easy to start their first products and first companies. So you can check out more at founderdash.com. And from today's session, JetBrains also is a sponsor for us, and we've been accepted into their community support program. So at the end of this event, or when I say end of this event, I mean towards the last half an hour, we'll do a raffle for those that are interested in participating in the raffle and getting a free license for one of JetBrains IDEs. I mean, you can use that license for any one product from JetBrains. So do stay on, and then we'll do a raffle for those that are interested in participating. And one lucky winner will get a free, 100% free subscription for one JetBrains tool of your choice. All right. With that said, we usually have our events a little fluid. We'll try to do some intro, then go to the main session, do some networking, and then wrap up. The important thing is that they'll be closing the doors at 8 o'clock. So we want to be slowly starting to get out of this room from 7:50, 7:45 to 7:50 onwards. So please keep that in mind, and then we can still have conversations in the lobby, beyond the time that we have here. And we do have a variety of sessions throughout the year. Towards the start of the year, prior to South by Southwest, we have like a pre-South by Southwest showcase event where we give where we get like 10 or 15 startups from the community. I mean, we have like around 6,000 people in the group right now, Austin Startup Meetup group, and we invite 10 to 15 startups to come and take some space around this area, some tables, and they can talk to all the crowds that come during South by Southwest. Beyond that, every month we do have like networking sessions, lightning pitch rounds, speaking sessions like we have today, and I also share some ecosystem updates and resources when time permits. So we do a variety of events. So if you require some help, or maybe if you're looking for a specific topic to be discussed in this meetup or events, just drop me a line, and we'll try to facilitate those topics or events or experts to come and talk about certain things that can help you. All right. With that said, I'll just run through a few slides of resources. Upcoming deadlines for those that are interested in applying to accelerators or incubator programs. The CTAN, which is the Central Texas Angel Network, they have 6 funding rounds, or cycles is what they call, 6 cycles throughout the year for applications for the startups they want to invest in. So the 5th cycle application deadline is September 16th. And typically 2 weeks before that, they do have an office hour session. And I think every month, I think they have office hours as well at their office to talk to startups and potential founders that want to talk to them and see if they're investable and things like that. So do check out CTAN website, and you can register for those office hours, or if you want to apply for that, the cycle 5 deadline is approaching soon. Y Combinator Winter 2025 batch, the application deadline for that is October 15th. You can still submit applications beyond that, but typically they evaluate those on a case-by-case basis beyond the deadline. And there's a few other institutions like Austin Technology Incubator, Capital Factory, and John Brumley Texas Venture Labs. TVL is what they typically are called as. So those typically have a rolling acceptance schedule, so you can talk to them anytime and then apply for those programs if you think you're a good fit, or if you think those programs are a good fit for you. Do take advantage of those, especially the Austin Technology Incubator and JBTVL. Those are equity-free programs. They don't take equity in your company, so might be helpful if you're an early-stage entrepreneur and looking for some help. So some events that are coming up. SaaStr is for SaaS startups. So it's an annual conference that happens this year between 10th and 12th. So pretty much tomorrow to 12th. And then Dallas Startup Week coming up in October, end of October 28th to 30th. And then Austin Startup Week follows that from the 28th through November 1st. And Austin Startup Week, I think you can find more resources from Capital Factory as well. And you can find their website and register for any of those events. If you want to showcase your startup and things like that, you can also register for a table and things like that. So do check out all of these. I think the San Antonio Startup Week was already done maybe a few weeks back. So yeah, so these are the 3 big things that happen in Texas, plus the TechCrunch Disrupt also in October. I think that's in San Francisco, I think. All right, for those that are new to the startup world and to the Austin startup scene, by the way, just a quick raise of hands. Who are all new to Austin? All right, quite a few. Welcome to Austin. And who's here that has a startup already that they're working on? All right, quite a few. Thank you. And who has a product in the works, may not have released it publicly, or have an idea but haven't published a startup or anything like that? Okay, there's a few. Awesome, thank you. So for people that are new to the Austin startup scene, some of these resources could be helpful, but then this is just a small list. It's not by any means exhaustive. There's more information that you can find on Google and other places too. Some local accelerator programs. Mass Challenge is a pretty big accelerator program, very well known in the US. They have multiple chapters. 2 here in Texas. They also have international chapters too, but primarily they're centered in Boston. And it's an equity-free accelerator program. It typically opens their application in the first week of February, I think, or sometime during January to February timeline. You can easily find that information on their website. But equity free, so you don't need to pay anything to join that apart from the application fee, which is a pretty insignificant amount. And then there's Founder Institute, that pretty standard accelerator program, and then they take companies from in very early stage to even mid to later stages too. And Austin Technology Incubator, part of the UT Austin ecosystem. We talked about that earlier in the slide. Bunker Labs focuses on veteran-owned startups. I think they've recently merged with another veteran-focused entrepreneurship program. I don't know if they're still called Bunker Labs or if their name changed, but they still have some chapter here in Austin or some presence here in Austin. DivInc for diversity inclusive programs. They have quite a few social good and other programs happening throughout the year. And then in Medical Innovation Labs, Tarmac, Texas, I don't know if those two are still active this year. SKU, for those that are in the retail or CPG space, SKU is probably the best accelerator program for you. They only focus on retail and CPG startups, and they have one chapter in Austin, one in New York. And JBTVL, we talked about that, another Austin, UT Austin ecosystem of entrepreneurship initiatives. Sputnik is a pretty well-known accelerator program here in Austin, and they do take companies into their program that they want to invest in, essentially like a investment plus accelerator program kind of thing. Techstars Austin, I think Techstars is doing some reorganization. I don't know if they still have an Austin chapter. They used to have a pretty big presence here, but maybe not anymore. International Accelerator, they focus on startups which have founding teams which are either located outside the US and want to have a presence in the US, or they have, they also focus on founding teams that have like, some founders here and some founders, overseas, and then they have a lot of programs that support founders to move here to the US or expand to the US, and also immigration and other related issues they can help with. And Oracle Startup, I think they probably don't have any more presence here in Austin. I need to update this list a little bit, but there's quite a few more accelerator programs that have come to Austin and have started recently in the last year or so. So you can find them more easily with a quick Google search. And with the funding side of things, there's quite a few angels, syndicates, and VC firms here. We already talked about CTAN earlier in the slides, and there's also Active Capital and Geekdom Fund, which are pretty active, investors in Texas and beyond. They're, I think they're in San Antonio, and then Live Oak Partners, Silverton, those two, and even S3. I think they're all in Austin and very active here. And I think Live Oak, if I'm not wrong, has also raised a pretty big amount of money for investing in early stage startups. So do have an eye on them if you're an early stage founder looking for funding. So Alamo Angels and Alamo Angels is in San Antonio, and then Quick Capital is in Austin. Beam Angel Network has not been doing any more investments. I think they've changed their focus of operations. And a few more, pretty quick list of resources. AngelList and F6S, where you can find more information on startups. I think AngelList is now, they've reorganized and broken down into like two offerings, and f6s.com is still, where you can find a lot of accelerator applications and so on. And then there's like LinkedIn. Pretty much everyone knows. Don't need to talk about that. Austin Digital Jobs and Austin Tech Volunteers. Those are two Facebook groups where you can find and post jobs in the digital ecosystem here, or volunteership in the tech ecosystem here. So And then there's also a couple of good meetups to go to. TechMap co-founders is one, and then Fiesta. I haven't listed Fiesta here, but probably a lot of you have already seen that on meetup.com or somewhere else. So those two are pretty good meetups to go to as well. A lot of networking and people in the startup community there. Solo Founders is another Facebook group started by one of our members who's fed up with building his startup by himself and wanted to talk to other people too. And Austin Startups is a pretty good Facebook group with a lot of activity from the people in the community here. And Startup School, for those that are familiar with the YC Y Combinator brand name, Startup School is their online free offering. So there's no compulsion to go to California or move there and spend some time there. This is like an online self-paced program where you can put the pace of your startup and the growth of your startup there before you apply for YC and other things. And a lot of resources too. I mean, do go to startupschool.org for all that information. And there's a lot of local meetups, in various areas. There's iPhone developer groups, there's sales-related groups, there's marketing-related groups. So do, for those that are new to the Austin scene, do go to all these meetups. There's great people that you can meet there. You can potentially get your next co-founder in one of these meetups, or even get your hires, or if you're looking for something, some opportunity to get hired. I mean, pretty good meetups around here. Hacker News and Indie Hackers, pretty well-known forums where you can talk to other people in the startup community around the world. All right, so I'll skip through some of these things because we have a speaking session today. And so for that, I'd like to invite Paris Bland. There she is. So she'll be talking about profit before launch. And yeah.
Okay, hi everybody. First off, I'd just love to give a huge round of applause to Suman. Thank you so much. It's very difficult to host a meetup, so we appreciate everything you do. So I am Paris. I have a company called Digital Executive, and I am also a 3-time founder. And one thing that all of my companies have had in common is that they've all been profitable. Now, that doesn't mean that they've all been wildly successful, but it does mean that I haven't lost any money off of them. So today, I'm going to go over some strategies that I used in order to reduce my overhead and help secure profit early on. And hopefully, some of y'all will be able to deploy some of these strategies in your own startups. So just to start off and be a little blunt, there are some major hiccups when it comes to startup funding right now. So for those of you who are trying to rely on funding, there might be some really massive roadblocks. In 2021, there was $621 billion of funding, and now just a few years later, that number is cut in less than half. So in 2021, that was the goal. You have a startup, you have this great idea, you want to get it funded, you could go ahead and do that. And then that's when you start worrying about scale. But now it's the opposite. In order to get this funding, you have to already have profit. And that's what we're seeing time and time again with these VCs, is they don't want just a good idea. They want somebody who already has customers, who already has money on the books. So additionally, what we're also seeing is that the companies who are getting funded, they're not getting pre-seed or seed money. It's going to Series A, B, and C. So you have to make sure that when you're starting or you're pitching, don't get discouraged. The money is still out there, but there are just some additional hoops that you're going to have to jump through. And this also means too that because you're going to be operating more with a profit first mindset, there's some massive changes that you might need to make if you already have a product or if you're just starting off and you're starting to do customer acquisition. So I'm going to go through 3 sales strategies for early stage founders. So these are things that I personally did in order to push sales in all of my companies. And again, that's because the first question that a VC is going to ask you is about product market fit. And the best way to determine product market fit is to have paying customers. And I think a lot of people get this confused too with having a lot of hype or getting a lot of positive feedback. But there's a difference between getting positive feedback and people who are actually going to be willing to give you money for your product. There's a huge distinction there. So if you can do anything in order to secure profit, even if it's a small amount, it's going to help out. So the first sales strategy is going to be getting in front of your audience. The second is going to be a strategy on starting small or starting a micro. And then the third is going to be around strategic partnerships. And specifically the first and the third is what I've built my businesses off of and what I've focused on more specifically. So first, getting in front of your audience. I want to share just a little bit of a personal detail. I was actually at this meetup about 1.5 years ago when I started my company. What we do is we do outsourcing to South America. So if you're hiring in the US and you don't want to spend $100,000, we find you the equivalent in South America for a reduced cost, usually about 75% less. And I had an idea that this was a good idea. I had an idea that this was something that I could sell to other companies. But to be honest, I wasn't sure. And so I decided to come to this meetup just so I could chat with other people who had startups, had small businesses, and see if this was something that they thought could potentially work for them. And when I came with my partner who I had at the time. I had a business partner when I first started this business. And we networked and we had 4 meetings booked by the end of the networking session. The first meeting, we met a small startup that had a team in India. And he told us that he was fully staffed at the moment, good on staffing, but he thought the idea was interesting and he wanted to keep us in mind. The second meeting, we met with a startup that was building a calendar app. And they told us that they needed to find a developer. And they were giving buying signals, but they weren't quite there yet. The third meeting, we met somebody who was just in the ideation phase. It didn't really go anywhere. He wasn't very structured or organized, which is also totally okay. And then the fourth meeting, I actually met someone here who needed our services, and we ended up signing him on the spot during that meeting. So as fast as possible, we had to start to fill the role. And 2 really key things happened. The first was that we actually ended up filling the role and I ended up getting my first sale. And it came from being at this meetup. And then the second was I realized that my co-founder was not going to be a good fit long term. We had meetings with candidates in order to place the role, and he missed 2 of them. And so that was a huge wake-up call for me. And that was at the point where I said, okay, I think it's time to separate. And don't worry, he's doing fine now. He has a tow truck company and he enjoys working with his hands and not having to adhere as much to a schedule. But that was a huge process. And that was also a huge realization of realizing this person that I thought I was going to build this company with was not going to be a good fit long term. So once you actually get to profit, once you actually get to where money is on the table, that's how you stress test A, your product, and then B, the people that you're building your product with. So it's very important to put profit first, because if you put the product first for too long, you don't actually get that stress test. So let's talk a little bit about getting in front of your audience, just like I did when I came here the first time. First, you need to figure out your customer profile. So who are your customers and where do they hang out? And then additionally, how do you get in front of them at whatever event that they might be at? So if you are a B2B customer profile, right? So if you're selling to businesses that are also business to business. So for example, my company, I only sell to business. There are a few places where you're going to find your customers. The first is Capital Factory. as Suman pointed out, there's a ton of events that are hosted here. And I got all my earliest sales by going to events, meeting with other business owners, and just telling them about what I did. I didn't necessarily pitch. I just let people know what I did. And not only did that result in me getting direct customers from those conversations, but it also resulted in people referring me business, especially at a networking event. Another really great resource is Fiesta. Not only is Fiesta just a great event, but they also have a calendar that the event organizers, John and Sheree Warner, put together. And this is a master calendar. I know Capital Factory also has a newsletter that it puts out, but this calendar with Fiesta has every event across Austin that you can imagine, specifically with a B2B focus. So I would highly recommend taking a look at that. And then additionally, if you are a Capital Factory member, one thing that I cannot stress enough is go talk to some of the Capital Factory mentors. If you're a member, they will have a portal where you can book meetings with mentors. What I did when I first started my business was I had a Capital Factory membership. And I talked to every single mentor that I possibly could. And not only has that resulted in long-lasting friendships with some of them, but it's also helped be a great profit and revenue source because I'm constantly top of mind and they're able to refer business. They're also some of the most plugged in people to the B2B scene. So I'd highly recommend taking a look. And even if it's not a fit now, they might meet another company or they might talk to somebody else who could need your services. And so by staying top of mind, it's a really great way to get out there. Additionally, you can always look on Eventbrite and just go to other events that are on meetup.com. And then there are also some networking groups. There are both paid and unpaid networking groups in Austin. There's a ton of them. There's one called SCN that's B2B focused specifically. There's also a ton of free ones that are in Austin. So definitely go if you're trying to sell to B2B. And if you don't like my suggestions, I actually saw this when I was sitting here preparing for this presentation. Andrew Young, who you guys should all follow on LinkedIn, by the way, he's a fantastic organizer. He does events across the country. So I've been to some of his events here and some of his events in California. Very high quality. He also publishes content like this. But here are some other ways that you can reach a B2B customer. I like all of these: memes, TikToks, sending gifts. These are all great. So if y'all want to do any of these as well, these are other kind of more off the wall ideas than I could think of. If you are selling to small, medium businesses, I can suggest going in person and bringing food. I know this sounds funny, but it really is the best way to do it. I've seen this work really well in two specific industries, but I do think you can do this with multiple businesses. If you're selling to doctors' offices, drop off cookies for the nurses, y'all. That's really the way to do it. Same with anybody in the auto industry or mechanic industry, anything that might be a little bit more blue collar. Bringing food is a really great way to get into these businesses and actually have conversations. Also, these folks are really busy. If you're face to face with them, you're so much more likely to have a conversation. And I know it feels uncomfortable, but that's how you're going to get those small to medium business owners actually in your pocket. And this is also something I did when I did a major push to land hairdressers. We were offering a reception service for hairdressers, and I literally went to I think 50 salons and just chatted with people, and we ended up landing some customers from that. So it had a massive return on investment, even though it was not fun to do. If you're selling to enterprise, and I know that this is definitely the most difficult one that you can sell to, but there are some certification programs that'll help you shortcut that. So if you're a veteran, if you're a minority, or if you are a woman, you can get a special certification that proves that it is either a veteran-owned business, minority-owned business, or woman-owned business. And if you get one of these certifications, there are special webinars that you can go to that'll allow you to get in front of representatives from enterprises, and there will be smaller rooms. It also will put you on list, and if you can get on verified list, a lot of these Fortune 500 companies will share list with one another. So if you're an approved vendor for, let's say, Staples, you can get on maybe Office Depot's list or something like that. And there's a lot of programs that'll help, even if it's not specific to being a minority. enterprises also host events. If you go on to a lot of these enterprise websites, you'll notice that they host in-person events. So like, for example, Google, they do about once a quarter a large event, and I'd highly recommend going, because not only do you get to interact with people from Google, but you get to interact with their vendors, and that's going to be your in. So if you're interacting with other vendors who already have an established relationship, and if you can work with their vendors, that's how you're going to get introductions to enterprise. And then if you're focusing on anybody in the e-commerce space or influencer space, conferences are really, really great for that. Online communities and masterminds. We have a few people who are in this space, and they've almost all come from masterminds. I've done a few speaking engagements at masterminds, and that's the best way to bring in. So if you know anybody who is in the space, see what you can do to get connected to their group of friends. And then if you are selling to individuals, door knocking. And then this is actually where I will say, if you're an early stage startup, the ads do work, and I would recommend it starting out. Same with conferences. If you're in a specific space, there's like home and garden shows, depending on where you're at. I think that when you're first starting out as a small business or as a startup, people tell you to run ads. And I don't think that that has the best return on investment. I think the best return on investment is putting yourself in front of the customer. So hopefully these were helpful strategies on getting in front of the customer. Next, I'm going to talk about starting small. So this is something I can't personally attest to because our product has been the same. But one thing that I will say is that our product's at a very low price point. And what that does is it makes it incredibly easy for people to say yes. So if you are a startup founder, you probably have this really grand vision of what you want your product to be. The number one thing that I can recommend is make a micro version of it. If you have a version at a lower price point, this is going to be the easiest way to get people to buy in and to say yes. For example, I know somebody who runs a marketing agency, and almost all of their packages are about $15,000. So it's very steep. But they recently started a smaller service that does LinkedIn outreach, and it's $250. They don't make as much money on that smaller service, but what it does is it creates very loyal customers. And so that loyal customer base is what they're now selling those $15,000 packages to. If you're able to get people on a smaller, low commitment product, that's going to be the best way to upgrade them later. And also, this is a slightly unpopular opinion, but I generally think that if you have a job right now, and this is something you're doing on the side, that is significantly easier to fulfill these smaller orders or these smaller services while you're working a job. And I don't think you need to quit your job and sell a $15,000 a month package and then have to sell that every single month. If you get smaller microservices or micro products that are at a lower price point, that's going to allow you to build up and sustain to the point where you actually can leave your job and then start going after some of those larger packages. And so on that same line, I started a business in 2020 that was in the tourism industry. So as y'all can guess, that did not go as well as I would have liked. And so when it failed, what I decided to do is I actually went back into sales and I started working and selling mattresses. And this is just something that was supposed to be a stopgap, but I really am glad that I did it. This is a side note, but if y'all ever need to sell anything, mattresses are a really good thing to sell. The average rep at the time was making about $95,000 per year. So what that did was it allowed me to store up money and put aside money so that I could actually, when I did start my business, build up those smaller contracts, fulfill those smaller contracts while I still have my job. And then once I reached a certain amount, that was when I quit and fully left the company I was working for. But I'm very, very happy that I started small and I had a little bit of that backup so that I wasn't just plunging right into everything. And then additionally, when you're starting small, I'd also recommend cutting cost. You do not need to be paying $15,000 a month for any software package. And you also don't need to be hiring immediately. I see a lot of startups, even if you do get funding, they just immediately start hiring. They immediately start hiring, especially in the United States, and it eats up their budget immediately. And that's how you see startups will get one round of funding and then go bankrupt almost immediately. So if you are able to get funding or you're able to get your startup off the ground, I'd really highly recommend doing a full software audit, cutting development cost, not spending on ads, and not scaling so quickly. Start steady, build up your customer base, and do it very, very slowly. Additionally, you should be your first salesperson. So this is the third strategy that I employed. And I think that this actually has probably been the most effective. This is strategic partnerships. With strategic partnerships, I've done two things that have helped out quite a bit. The first was networking, which I talked about earlier, but not only networking just to sell, but networking, building relationships with people, and becoming involved with other people in the startup community. If you're well liked, if you're well regarded, people will refer you business. And so it's important to give back on that as well. So if you meet somebody at an event and they tell you about a really cool product, and then you meet somebody else who's telling you about a business need that matches that same product, connect them. If you're able to connect people and you're able to build a network, that's the most valuable thing that you can do to build your sales pipeline later on. And so again, I'd highly recommend strategic partnerships just from events and from people that are in your nearby community. The second thing that I did that has been probably the highest return was I started a YouTube channel. And this YouTube channel is by like no means produced in like a very quality way. It's literally me just talking about my product. And that has brought me 2 different partners. So it didn't actually get me any sales, but it brought me to Date, who's probably been my biggest supporter. I met somebody from a mastermind who has ended up referring me probably about $100,000 worth of business. And it was literally just from having my face on YouTube and having that credibility. So I want to go back and follow back to when I was here about a year and a half ago. And that one the first person that I met with, he did not end up buying immediately. He said he had a team in India, did not need outsourcing services immediately. He came back to me 6 months after that Meetup event because he saw me at another event and he ended up buying from me. And then they became my biggest customer, and still today we work with them. So it ended up being a strategic partnership as well. So the people that you meet today in this room, make sure you keep up with them because you never know whose business is going to take off, who's going to get funding, and who could be a valuable resource for you later on, or who you could be a valuable resource for. So this is it. Thank you all so much. If you want to talk 15 minutes or just workshop any of your ideas, I have my Calendly link up there. Would love to talk to any of y'all, especially if you're still in the ideation phase or just want help. But that's it. Thank y'all so much.
Do you want to do any Q&A?
Oh, yeah. I forgot we're doing a Q&A. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Yeah, so I think that's a good question because I think you need to think about where you're not only who your customer is, but who is interacting with your customer. So in my case, one of my strategic partners ended up being they create videos for small businesses. And so they're working with people that are generally not at events, right? They're blue collar workers. They're people that have dentist office. I don't know what they do to advertise, but I know that I'm benefiting off of them advertising. And so that to me was something that made sense, right? Of, okay, they're working, they're doing X amount of business. But I really think what it comes down to is you need to talk to people who have high volume, so established businesses. I see a lot of people who think strategic partnerships are other people who are in their same boat. That's not the case. You want whoever you partner with to be doing way more business than you. Okay, so I understand because I'm in more of a services industry, so it's a little different for me. Because right, you can't just wait till you get a sell on your B2B product and then go try to code it that night, right? That it won't work that way. For me, I had an idea on how to do this. I had done it before. I had already hired before pretty extensively, but I didn't actually have any processes in place. I had put a few things together, but your first customer is going to break all of your processes. Like no matter what you think is going to happen with the transaction, they're going to break it. It's going to be a problem. Things that you never anticipated are going to come up. And so I think that's why it's really important to get to the phase where you're actually testing on paying customers. And again, it's important that they pay because they need to have that buy-in. And even if it's a small amount, like if you want your product to normally sell for $3,000 and you want someone to give you 150 and say, hey, you're going to be a test case and this might be a dumpster fire, I think that's okay too. So again, I err more on the side of like very little prep, throw up your LLC and figure out what you're selling and go to it. But I think that it's also okay to spend time putting a little bit into the process, but don't get so caught up in the process that you're not selling, because that's when you get in trouble, is you'll spend 3 years creating a product that nobody wants to buy. So again, because what we do is hiring, we scaled pretty quickly. So I had a number in mind. I said when we get, I think it was 7 contracts, might have been four contracts. I'm like, I'm going to hire somebody to do this portion that I had already figured out and got a very clear idea of what was needed. But until you start selling your product, you don't necessarily know where you need resources, because your customers coming on is going to massively change where your resource allocation goes. And then I had multiple numbers after that. Now we're at quite a few staff members. So the number's changing. And now we're at the point where it's, you hit a point where you might need to hire and scale quite a bit very quickly. But I do think at the beginning, until you start hitting, honestly, more than you could handle, you need to wait till your team's at 125%. I didn't hear what you said. Positive feedback for what? Oh, when somebody gives you negative feedback about a product? I don't think you need to listen to everybody. I think there are certain people who aren't going to get your product, and that's okay. There are a lot of people that didn't get my product or my service at first, and that's okay. I don't work with them. But you need to, the positive voices that you hear, you need to listen to and get confirmation from. And what I would recommend for the negative voices is keep a running list of everything that everybody is saying to you and see what gets repeated. Once something starts getting repeated 3-4 times, okay, you need to look at that. So one thing that one person said can be disregarded. And people might have a weird bias and you don't know what they're bringing into the situation. Yeah, so I did it for SEO because YouTube tags all of your descriptions. So I originally did it for SEO, and because my page wasn't even showing up on Google when I first started, like if you Googled my company name, my Google profile would not come up. So I was like, okay, what do I do? And so the answer is adding a ton of website pages, like not just one page, but actually having multiple website pages was very effective. That was something I learned through this process. And then the second was having YouTube videos that are tagged and link back, and then also having blogs that link back, so it's all one circle. that was definitely beneficial. And again, with the YouTube process, I don't think your YouTube videos need to be produced. I don't think that you need to hire someone to do these for you for like thousands and thousands of dollars. I literally think you just talking in front of the camera is enough and explaining your product via the camera. And the people make it very specific too, because the people who are looking specifically for what you're offering are going to Google that. Oh, um, this might be a little bit of like a lame answer, but I honestly think that some of the people that I've met personally through networking events who have done really well have had the biggest impact, and those are the people that I end up listening to the most. I know that there's a lot of like really big people online, but I also think that you can't believe everything that you learn online or see online. I think that organizers too, like connecting with organizers is a really, really great way. So if you go to events, talk to the organizer, see if they have any resources for you. And those are going to be not only your best supporters, but those people are inherently community based and they're inherently going to help you out. So also too, like when you go to events, especially larger events, like talking to the organizer and helping them clean up and volunteering, though that's going to be your in, and those are the people that are going to give you the best advice. Mhm. Okay. So if you don't know how to do ads, hire someone to do it for you. Like, I see so many companies, they go cheap on this and they'll waste just a ton of money. If you are business to consumer, you have to get your product in the hands of people. So again, at that point, if you're business to consumer, talk to every single friend, family that you know, get them to buy in, get them to give you reviews, get them to build up that trust, and then run ads. But again, I really think that's the only time you should be running ads if you're business to consumer. Ooh. um, that's a good one. I think that my biggest failure when starting this journey was bringing, well, I think that it was getting a little bit too stressed out about the small bumps. Like now things can happen and it rolls off and it's not a big deal and I've totally separated myself. But you have to understand, and this is, I say you have to understand this, but you don't understand it till it actually happens. Like your company is so much better when you emotionally remove yourself from it. And that's so hard to do because it's your baby and this is your startup that you've poured your blood, sweat, and tears into. But the more emotionally invested you are, the worse decisions you make. Like I can remember like not wanting to lose a contract and like not wanting to give up the sale to the point where I let a customer like yell at me on the phone, like called me screaming and freaking out on me like twice a week. And I didn't want to give up the sale. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to put up with this. And when he finally left, I've never felt so much relief in my entire life. Like, oh, and that's true. They say 80% of your customers are going to take up 20% of your time, and then 20% of your customers are going to take up 80%. Don't focus on the folks who are taking up that much time or being just jerks to you. Like, let it go, put yourself first, make accommodations, but let it go. Mhm. Yeah, so I think that we got lucky in the sense of it was right before we were on the brink of profit, right? And so I was like, I'll pay you out the lifetime value of this one customer that we had. And he was like, you know what, it's not even worth it. Let's just part ways. And I again, I got very lucky in that sense. Um, And I'm also so happy that I realized that soon, like very early into the process. And I recommend for anybody who is founding with a co-founder, like make sure anything that you are not bringing to the table that they are bringing to the table, right? Like you have to have that balance. If you know you have a major blind side or blind side, definitely bring in somebody who can fill that gap, but also make sure it is a symbiotic relationship, right? Like you guys both have to bring something in. Also, if you have one co-founder, you need to bring on somebody else who is a mutual third party and give them like 2% of the company or 1% of the company as a tiebreaker. And you don't think that that's going to matter until it does. But the most successful companies are the companies that function the best. It's because if the co-founders disagree, they need to have a tiebreaker who end all be all. So either if that's like your first employee, or if that is a mutual friend, or if that's just completely random, like mentor, I think that it's really, really great to bring in somebody that can break the ice. Okay. Yeah, so I think that again, what I do is so specific that I just keyworded it. Like I literally would name my videos how to hire in South America. And people would type that in, right? Like people literally would type that in and then they'd see my videos and then I made it really easy to book a call with me. And then people would book a call and we'd chat about it. So I do think that that's valuable if you're solving a specific problem, be clear on what that problem is and then put it in there, right? Or like, whatever service you're offering, keyword it in Austin, right? Especially if you're brick and mortar, whatever it may be. Make sure that it's easy to find you. And then also just make sure it's really easy to book time with you. Like make yourself accessible. Do not respond to somebody in 48 business hours when you're first starting out. Respond immediately, be accessible, interact with people, interact with comments, whatever it may be. But again, I didn't technically get any customers from that. I've just gotten partnerships and that's been well worth it in itself.
A lot of people struggle, especially the starting, right? So, when did you think this is your like a baby and this is your like a you're all in this thing?
Mhm.
Because any idea we will have a lot of competitors, a lot of other people who do the same things. How did you find? How did you make sure? How did you think it would be the perfect fit for you?
Yeah, and I think too, right? Like I always hear that, oh, there's a lot of competition in that space or whatever it is. Well, yeah, there's competition in the space that you're going into because it's profitable. And it's a good business idea. And I don't think you should be afraid if there's other competitors in your space. If anything, learn from them and know that there is a customer demographic out there. And I think that I decided to go all in on this because I started making sales, right? I was shocked. My first meetup that I ever went to, it resulted in a sale. I think I got very lucky in that sense. But once I started selling and I started realizing, okay, there's something here. This is going to make money. That became an easy push for me. And that was when I realized, okay, if I focus on this, this will make money. And so from a year after coming to this meetup, I think I had grown to $500,000 from the year mark of the meetup in annual recurring revenue. So I was able to do that just by sticking with it and again, continuing to meet people. But I saw that projection. And once I could see it, that was when I put my foot on the gas. I think that's it.
With the partnerships, have you ever done like a commission, like they pay you on and they get a commission, or it's always been like
Oh, yeah.
a non-commission-based partnership?
Yes, but your best partnerships a lot of times won't even really care. I said earlier, I was like, work with businesses who like need your service. So, I'll go a little bit into like some of the most successful partnerships I have. The first one, the reason that he likes to refer my client's business is because he makes these videos for folks. He'll explode their businesses. They'll be getting so many calls that they can't, or because he does all their social media, that they literally cannot keep up with the demand. And so they're missing calls. They're not getting on the customers that he's sending them. So he started partnering with me because he's like, hey, I need to get somebody staffed to take the incoming phone calls in these businesses. So it was very mutually beneficial for him to recommend my services because them being understaffed was a problem for him. And it's same with operations folks. That's like another really large partnership I have is I talk to a ton of fractional COOs. And the fractional COOs that I talk to, they're so sick of having they'll build a process for somebody and then they get really bad staff to fill it and then it makes them look bad. So it's in their best interest to get somebody that they trust to staff in there. So you need to find people who like want to work with you and who solving that business's problem is also a benefit to them. So for a lot of B2B companies, look at their other B2B service providers and see what hiccups they're having. And if you can partner with one of those people, they'll send you all their business and they won't care about the referrals. But I also pay referrals, so I think that's it.
What advice do you have for just generating, just brainstorming ideas for startups?
So this is what I did when I first started. I actually just called like literally every single person that I knew. Like I was calling people from high school, middle school, like just everyone I knew. And I was like, hey, let's just chat. And I was just talking to people, seeing what they were working on. A lot of people I knew were working for small companies. So I was asking about their small companies that they were working for. I ended up getting one of my first clients because he was complaining about his secretary. He was just like, she won't come into the office. And he was just, this is a constant complaint. And that was actually one of the reasons I decided to start the business was because I was hearing those complaints from people that I knew of like, oh, I'm having this problem with staff. I'm having this problem or that problem. And so that was kind of what pushed me to form this idea and realize, okay, there might be a product market fit for this. But I think making friends with people that have startups or have small businesses, like make good friends and then ask those friends what their problems are. And that's going to be your best way to figure out if your product's useful, because you can build a product and then nobody wants to use it, and that's sad. So make sure people want to use your product. Yeah.
How do you handle competition? Like competitors in terms of quality versus price of your product?
I think that we're in a unique position. Like we end up being pretty low cost. We do volume, so we end up being pretty low cost, and we have a good product. So I think just price yourself competitively and provide really, really good service. And there's so few people that provide really, really good service. So if you do that, your customers will love you, and then your customers will also refer you business.
I may go first, right? Okay. Did you ever had situation when customers refuse to pay for your services or
Get money up front. For real, get money up front. Do not do any work without getting money. I get 100% of my money up front. Don't let anybody talk you out of that either. Anybody that's trying to talk you out of it isn't going to pay you. Don't ever wait for money. 100%. And don't do anything without being paid. Huh?
you work with fixed price?
Yeah, we have a fixed price.
And if you have some extras that you want to do, so you're like offering these extras, taking money, and then proceed, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends, but yeah, we only really have like one fixed cost. Like I don't really have extras. I think if you are able to add on extras, that's awesome. But don't do anything without getting money. Up front, I've seen so many people get screwed over on that. And it's not a matter of like if it'll happen, it's a matter of when it'll happen. So yeah, and I also too, I think that a lot of startups get taken advantage of. But you have to be at a price that is competitive enough to where people don't freak out. And the higher priced your product is, the more likely you're going to have people not pay it. So that's a controversial opinion. You might not want to listen to me 100% on that, but that's what I believe, and I'm a very firm believer in it. And I can't think of a single product that I get that I don't pay for up front.
You have a grid, true grid, you know?
You're just talking about placement. You're not talking about ongoing staffing. You just do the
We do ongoing. Yes.
I have a lot of staffing. I've never paid up front. We always pay at the end of the month. Tens, thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in payments. Never pay up front, never have. I'd love to know how you do that. Another time.
Yeah, I mean, some companies don't charge that up front, but I mean, if we're working, and that's the thing too, right? You hit a certain point, right? If you're working with enterprise clients, enterprise is going to make you do 30 days out. That's a fact of life. Enterprise 30, 60. And that's fair. But if you're not working with enterprise, which I mainly don't, there's no need. Again, if you're working with enterprise, they're going to probably force you to do that. But also, you might not get paid. So that's a risk. You have to be willing to not recover that money. I know somebody right now who has $150K in accounts receivable right now. So. No worries. Can you say that one more time? Uh? It's hard because sometimes you get into a price war. But I do think that there's a lot of value in pricing it, especially when you start out at a price that's really easy to say yes to, or offering like a smaller version of the product at a lower price, I think is also really good. So like maybe you can do, I don't know what your specific product is, but maybe doing you get 25% of the services or 50% of the services, and it's at a really, really good price. That gets people in, and then they want to upgrade. And then you don't necessarily have to worry about the upgrade price as much. You can price that the same. But I think having at least one price point that's better than your competitors can be an advantage. I think that's it. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Paris, for the wonderful presentation and talk. And especially, I mean, I love these kind of talks because they are all coming from personal experiences rather than, and also first-hand experience that you're listening from, rather than something that you'll just, read upon on internet or any other article that may or may not be relevant to your and the place you're in, or the place or the product that you're working on, and things like that. So, and if anyone has similar experiences like that they want to share, as they build their companies, as they grow their companies, especially those that are building and growing the companies in Texas and Austin in specific, do send me a note, and then we can talk about scheduling some sessions like this, where when it's all coming from the community, and these are lessons that we can share and learn from each other, and build something that lasts, and build something that's successful, and also with the learnings that we have locally here, right? So really appreciate that, Paris. And so before we go to the next round, what we'll do is I'll just put up a QR code on the screen for those that want to participate in that giveaway or raffle or whatever you call it. Please take a scan of that QR code, and we'll at the end of the next round, we'll go through that, and then we'll pick a winner. So I'll keep this on the screen for quite a while. So while people are scanning, we can now go and talk about the next round, which is lightning pitches. I know a lot of people here are either working on their own startups or are planning to, launch their products, or having some ideas that they want to, explore. So what we'll do is we'll go through the audience, from my right to left, and we'll have some people come on stage and talk about their products, give a quick pitch, and maybe answer a couple of questions, and also There are a couple of people that also talked to me before the event that want to come and share some updates and things like that. So what I'll do is I'll first call those people so they can give those updates, and then we'll go to the lightning pitches. So do you want to come and share something?
I don't need that.
Oh, okay.
You did a nice job, young lady. Thank you. I agree with you on the food. That works very well with the city of Austin. I just went through a zoning issue. So if any of you have good city office, the food thing works well. And thank you to you. You know, I've been coming to this city a long time. Your
Appreciate it.
humble is a fantastic event, and I will always come even when I'm famous. I need 60 seconds. I need a product man. It's a part-time role. I have a company. We will be doing our funding in December. You never look away. It's a founder-level opportunity. It is a very, very dynamic and interesting company. It's B2B. It's D2C. It's e-commerce. Very heavily IT related. Involves a 3PL. Made in Austin. Applies everywhere in the United States. It's an entirely new concept and product for an existing market. I got a fantastic team. We're putting together our final package for the financing. I've been around young talent marketing and product management people that I could probably do this myself, but I have 80 hours stuff to do. I need more than a 6th grade level. The kicker here, fellas, is I need a lady's touch on this. I need a combination of Laura Croft and Joan Jett, if that means anything to anybody. It's in the entertainment space, and I also go to Milan, Italy quite frequently, so anybody who likes clothes and is in the know, we're doing a fantastic gig. I'm going to be around after. If you are one you're interested in this type of a role, or you know somebody, I would very much like the referral. I would also like to do this locally. I can put this out nationally, and I know people I can find very, very quickly outside the area, but I want somebody in Austin because there's going to be lots of boots on the ground. So I will not discuss the company because we are all identified under confidentiality. Anybody who's interested enough to look at it, once we get past that, I will disclose it. But I'll answer any quick questions about the role and then get off stage.
Any questions?
That means no takers, or I was very effective. Thank y'all.
All right, that reminds me of maybe taking a quick poll of who's actually in this room, what their backgrounds are. So I'll start with some common things. So just do a quick raise of hands. Who's here with a product or technical background? A product or technical background? Product managers, technical, any technical roles. Okay, there's quite a few. Awesome. Who's here with sales expertise or background? Quite a few. Thank you. Who's with marketing roles, marketing background? Okay, awesome. Any operations folks here? A few here. Okay, thank you. And let's see, what are the roles, common roles I'm missing? What is that? A lawyer. Who's a lawyer here? Legal backgrounds? There's one here, I know. All right, so okay, so you've seen some people raise hands, so hopefully you've made a mental note of who raised their hand. So do make sure if you're looking for someone in those roles, do talk to them, and maybe and who's actually looking for a job or opportunity. All right, so there's a few. Thank you. All right, so yeah, I mean anyone that has that's looking for potential people to team up with. Some people raise hands, so do talk to them about those opportunities. Now that I've done with that, there's one other announcement. Before that, actually, let's go to. Oh yeah, you wanted to make an announcement about the next month? Okay, awesome. All right, so we'll go to the pitches then. Who wants to? Okay, first you, then you.
Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? Awesome. My name's Julian. I'm the host of Creatives and Tech Speed Networking. We host speed networking events every Wednesday. And I'm sorry, the second Wednesday of every month here at Capital Factory, and our event is this Wednesday, so I want to plug that and promote it. Have you ever gone to a networking event and you're just like, so many bodies, who do I talk to? I don't have, my social battery is like so limited. I just got out of work. Well, that's what we're here to fix. So using our mobile app, you get paired up with people based on complementary interests. So you put what you're looking for and you put what you do, what you have to offer, and we match you up with someone in the room based on the complementary opposite. So, someone in tech sales looking to meet a marketer looking to meet someone in tech sales. You get paired up in a speed networking like fashion. You get 4 minutes with each person, and you go to the next person. It's very fun. We got free complimentary tequila. Who likes drinking and speed networking? Come on, guys, give me some energy. All right. And after the speed networking, we're going to jump to a new thing we're doing. It's going to be a founder showcase spotlight where random founders, we pull out of a little bucket. It's inspired by Kill Tony. I don't know if you guys like comedy. We pull your name out of a bucket if you volunteered, and we have you come up, do 60 seconds, pitch yourselves in front of 3 judges. One is a judge who's very well knowledgeable in business. One's an investor, and one is very knowledgeable in tech. And you just showcase what you got. They give you feedback. You work on, learning what you could say, what not to say. And yeah, it just kind of like builds you up. And that's the event that's happening this Wednesday. This room, 6 to 9. So look up Creatives and Tech Speed Networking on Meetup. And I think I'm looking for a job too, by the way. Could be product manager. Maybe I can talk to you. But I'm not a girl. I can work with that. I'll figure it out. I'm open to constructive criticism. Guys. So, come by. Speed Network with Purpose. Free drinks. Awesome showcase. Pitch competition afterwards. And have a good time this Wednesday. All right. Thank you, guys.
Okay. I founded a small supplement startup. I'm looking to raise $500,000 on a $2 million valuation. I'm up here practicing pitching. If this leads to anything, that's incredible also. I sell supplements you can feel. Most supplements are placebo. I've been learning in working with suppliers. They're completely fake. They're bullshit. These supplements, either you feel them or you don't. We're also focusing on exciting form factors like gummies. Mental health is a serious crisis in the United States. It's getting worse and worse. People need more supplements. The sector's growing. Just launched on TikTok. We're on track to do 10,000 this month, and we're growing exponentially. So thank you so much.
What's the name of your company? What's the name of your company or product? Altruistic. You have a altruistic.co or .com? .co. With a K. Altruistic with a K. So if you all want to check it out. And again, like for people that are pitching about their companies or the products or even events, do go to their websites, check their products out. If you like them, the most encouragement that you can give to an early stage founder is use them or spread the word among your friends and family or your connections. So do help your the founders in the community, and they'll help you back, or you'll make a good connection, right? So do check it out. Altruistic with a K.co, and let's go to sweep this. Anyone wants to? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we'll go with you, and then come here, and then we'll do.
Hi, my name is Ali. I'm with Blackmount. We are a data analytics company. So what we do, we are using AI to detect anomalies, and we do predictive maintenance for manufacturers. So what we do, we can collect data from various data sources on a factory floor. From CNC machines, from measurement machines, and even the operators. So what we do after we collect the data, we have basically an AI engine. It is detecting anomalies. It goes through the data, processes the data, and once we have these detection algorithms, they basically they're supposed to detect those anomalies. And then we have another layer of AI that's supposed to filter through those basically alerts that the other detection algorithms find. And then we have a dashboard that the operators can see what's going on in their machine, on their basically on the production, get some insight. So yeah, if anyone here has a bit manufacturing background, especially we like to partner with the manufacturing facilities and also integrators, and also if any companies with control background. That's being said, we also on the side we're selling our data pipeline. So if you have an IoT company, we can collect data from your devices all over the field, or any sort of, like if you have like cars going through the city and stuff like that, we can collect the data and show it on dashboards. And if you want to set alerts, we can help you with that. Yeah, I'll leave it Blackmount. Thank you.
What's the name of the company? Blushmount?
Block.
Okay, Blushmount is the name of the company? BLOC, Blockmount. Okay, so yeah, do check out Blockmount, and yeah, let's go.
Hey, everybody. My name is Tim. I'm a solutions rep with Website Leads AI. So I'm sure if any of you have any ideas or any businesses, eventually you're going to have to put it on a web page. You're going to have to make it really attractive, so hopefully people come. What we essentially do is we're an integration platform as a service, so we can embed a pixel onto your website. And essentially what we do is those people who visit your website, the web organic traffic, right? Those people, we actually have strategic data providers. We can enrich those leads, and we can actually integrate those directly into your CRM. We have, very, very, very good founders, a lot smarter than me. I'm just a sales guy. And they can set that up and get you those leads within about 30 minutes. It's a very, very unique early stage company, but it's kind of coining the term warm outbound, if you get it, right? Because popular studies show that usually sales customers are about 57% of the way to the buying cycle before they ever actually reach out to sales. So a big thing is those people who are on your website, right? Those are warm outbounds in a sense. They have that familiarity with your brand and your product, and they've probably poked around a little bit before. So one of the other things we have involved with our product is we have a unique partnership with WooSender. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with that. It's essentially an AI-generated sales team that uses an omni-channel approach via text, voice, and email to follow up with prospects. So they have about an 80% engagement rate, and from there, about 30% of those result in meetings. We got that partnership because a big problem that we had with some of our early customers was we'd bring in all their organic web-bound leads, and they would just be overrun. They didn't have enough of a team to really follow up on them, which is kind of where our unique partnership with WooSender came in. So we're really got a lot of cool customers already. We're trying to branch out into the SMB space. We're going to be at Dreamforce in about, I don't even know, I'm not going, but it's in about 2 weeks. I wish I could go. But yeah, so that's Website Leads AI. My name is Tim. If you guys have any websites or inbound traffic you want to generate, please let me know.
Thank you. What's the name of the company again? Just so I can announce it. What's the name of the company? Website Leads AI. All right. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ming, and I have a problem. Oh, sorry. Wrong meeting. No, but really, I've got a problem. Been a project manager. Has anyone here experienced this problem? Has anyone here had to schedule a meeting, and it's with people who are not in your organization, or maybe they're in your organization and they hide their calendar for whatever nefarious reasons, and you go, oh no. Oh, here we go. Who's done this before? Raise your hands. This is a very interactive pitch. Yep. Now, God help you. Who's done it with a team who's in a offset time zone by like 6 hours? Oh yeah, you know the pain. You have my problem. So you go, let's use Calendly. Please, just vote on this Calendly link. And it doesn't happen. Or they vote, and it's 12 hours later. You're already offline. Our product solves that problem. You think Calendly is good? Heya is better. Calendly is the steam engine. This is a diesel engine. It uses an LLM, and Heya is your always online executive assistant. And she has all the context. She's better than your secretary. And by the way, all of you get it. She solves your problems. She's always online. So when that team finally responds, oh, yeah, I can meet at 8 o'clock in the morning when you're asleep at 4 a.m., she responds, books a calendar, moves your one-on-one. It's a very simple tool. But like Paris said, start small. Okay, that's my company. We are Fountainhead Endeavors. You can go to fendv.com, fendev.com. I've got cards as well. And the product is called Heya. It's going to solve your scheduling problems and reduce that monotonous problem. And it'll be like a thing that you'll tell your kids about, like CD-ROMs, and they'll look at you like, what? You used to schedule meetings by hand? Thanks.
Well, okay, yeah, you and then.
And an offer.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Lawrence Cotter. I'm a 5-time founder, most recent co-founded a company V, AI for health and wellness. We just raised $111 million. It's a very, it's been a wild success. But really what I wanted to talk about is I'm also, with all that experience, a mentor to about 12 different companies, and just feeling the energy in this room. Those mentors need a lot of help, and that help usually comes from smart, passionate, motivated individuals. So I just wanted to invite anybody that was here that sounds like they're working in AI, they're working in behavioral psychology, they're working in supplements and mental health areas, to please look me up, Lawrence Cotter, at LinkedIn, and I can try to connect you to these founders who would love to meet other smart, passionate individuals. Thank you.
Thank you. And yeah.
So this should be quick. I'm in the I need testers for my app category. That's usually one of the earlier slides. So anyway, now this fall, or at least in Texas, still hot as hell, but at least fall weather in some parts of the country. So sports are starting up. And so I've completed an MVP for an app that mints NFTs kind of in the sports trading card theme. So over the recent years, we've seen name, image, likeness kind of come to fruition, so that, amateur level athletes can kind of, get some ROI basically on their name, image, and likeness. So anyway, what the MVP does is allows an Android phone user, when they're at the game, to take a picture, enter everything that you see on the classic sports trading card, the athlete name, team name, city, and everything that makes a trading card interesting. And then from their phone, they can mint an NFT. And then there's also chat built around to make it a little bit more sticky and give them enthusiasm and excitement to kind of chat about the NFT, chat about their community as well. And if they care about trying to sell it, it's also displayed on some NFT marketplaces as well. So anyway, as you've probably gathered by now, the target market for that is amateur sports influencers, amateur athletes, and just amateur sports fans. So if any of you guys know anyone that has a knack for kind of catching that special moment in the game and kind of wants to memorialize it, let me know. I'll be around here for a little bit, or you can just go to sportcollectibles.app.com, and they can also register their interest there as well. Thank you.
That's sportcollectiblesapp.com, right? Okay, so yeah, please do refer anyone that is in your circles that might be interested in using that app, or you're looking for some testers too, right? So okay, so yeah, anyone in this group that has those connections in your circles, do refer them to try it out. So awesome. Oh, okay.
Hi everyone, I'm Untitled Attorney, and this is Rental Attorney, and I know that we have the same last name, but we're not married, we are cousins.
And Dalton just moved here from LA, so give him a warm welcome.
She really did. She
that supports my lifestyle as well as my individual needs.
And I had a similar journey. Mine was in more of like a metabolic focus, but for me, most of my life was centered around food, where I could not stop thinking about my next meal. So I had like what some people call like food addiction, where it's like I loved eating fast food and sugar and things like that. And in 2020, it kind of allowed me to slow down a little bit and really focus on making a change in my life. And so I can say, since 2020, I have lost 60 pounds and I've kept it off for almost 5 years. The crazy part about it wasn't that like it wasn't actually losing the weight; it was changing the habits. It was learning about like nutrition and understanding macronutrients and what goes into our food, because a lot of these things are not taught in school. They'll teach you like the My Plate stuff, but that's the extent of what they're teaching you. And so for me, I had to go through the education of understanding what I'm putting in my body so that I could create something sustainable, but also eat delicious food. And so I put in that work, but then I quickly learned that it's such a grueling journey to do that, that like there needs, I wish there was some sort of product that could teach people or help them, hold their hand and show them that they can still eat delicious food, and healthy food doesn't have to be boring. You know what I mean? So since then, we've been developing this product called Chefy, and Chefy is a recipe generator and meal recommendation platform that is truly customized to the way you want to live your life, which will allow you all the social benefits, will allow you all the delicious food that you want, but it will take into account all of your preferences, your allergies, your diets, any particular goals, like health goals, fitness goals that you have in mind, and it will literally tell you where you should be eating. So for example, what restaurant to go to, what to order on the menu, as well as what you should cook at home. So if you want a cannoli, you can have your cannoli. It's going to be a high protein cannoli with no sugar in it, but it's going to taste just as good as the real one. And so we've been partnering with nutrition experts, dietary experts, as well as some culinary experts to ensure that the texture of the food is preserved, as well as the actual taste of the original meal that you wanted. So you can actually feel like you're enjoying your life and have real food freedom. And so we're on the App Store, as well as on the web, chefy.us, CHEFFIE, and that's Chefy.
Thank you all. Okay, so now we'll sweep through this part of the room to bring in some. So I see a few hands. So before I bring in the people from here, let's do the raffle. So before people start leaving and we run out of time, so let's do the raffle and then we'll continue our pictures. All right. So I hope you all had scanned those QR codes. So let's see. Come on. Come on. Uh-oh, there is Mario Gama. Is Mario here? All right. So, hey, you're the winner. So, I think you probably have already put your email in there, right? So, okay, I'll send you the code via email. Thank you very much. So, okay, so, I'm sorry? Awesome, thank you. So, do you want to comment? And then we'll go.
Well, first, congratulations. And my name is Jenny Yu. And climate change, global warming, popular, probably cliche topic to some people. But if you're in Texas, Austin, I think you believe it's real. And I hope so. And then, yeah, so not just the hot weather, high temperature, etc. I recently read from New York Times, actually, even with the flights, those turbulence, more fatality was caused by turbulence. But the planes were all fine. Why? Because of the turbulence gets more severe in the recent years by researchers finding. And then some people don't like to buckle up, right? And then you feel comfortable and all of a sudden. So that could cause severe injury and fatalities. And that's also showing one example showing climate change is real and it could have effects or impacts across our lives we don't even know yet. So that definitely sounds dangerous. And our company, EcoPulse, I honestly 3 months ago, I left my corporate job and started this new venture. EcoPulse is focusing on methane emission tracking, analytics, and reporting for oil and gas companies. So climate change, yes, finding the climate change. Absolutely, yes. But what's the effective way? Methane turns out to be the most effective way and efficient way to curb, at least to curb the climate change, because methane is over 80 times more potent than carbon dioxide. So just imagine carbon dioxide laying out one layer of blanket over the air to trap the heat. Methane actually is laying 80 carpets or blankets, let's say blankets over the air for the earth to get warmer and warmer. So our company currently is in early stage prototype development phase. We are about to start fundraising probably early next month. And it's exciting. I personally came from the environmental health and safety technology and software domain. So this is Texas, easy access to Houston and oil and gas, those companies and industry. And then I do see a lot of traction going on in the methane space. One example is EPA recently announced the funding or grant of $850 million for any technology companies to help with oil and gas industry lower the methane emission. So if you are interested, look into that space. But yeah, it's for the overall cause, I think. Well, thank you, everybody.
Was it EcoFlow? Eco. Oh, Eco. All right, EcoPause. And next we have you, and then we'll come to the.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alex Mershak. I'm the founder of Lawgiver AI. What Lawgiver does is we use LLMs to parse, summarize, extract context, and structured data from legislation. So as many of you probably know, bills can sometimes be thousands and thousands of pages long. Over time, the laws just keep adding up and adding up, greater and greater, especially at the federal level, but also in the states. And right now, there are legislative tracking and research tools that exist, but a lot of them have not made the shift into the AI space to actually enable people that are concerned with policy, that is like think tanks, other policymakers, people that are concerned in areas like healthcare or environmental, to actually easily get access to those bills and figure out what they need to do or what they need to know about them. And so we've developed a tool to initially just be able to chat with bills, extract important metadata, but eventually what we want to do is actually be able to map out whole legislative areas and give people a quick, concise summary of like, here's all the bills that you need, here's how they relate to each other, here's the different amendments that they've gone through, and here's how that might affect your policy concerns. So that's Lawgiver AI. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hey guys, my name is JC. I'm been in tech for the last 20 years, 18 years or so. Being from Mexico, I'm used to work with nearshore companies, right? So the nearshore companies in Mexico, they take the talent, they find you the right talent for your team, and then they move it around. So they own the talent. So that's how Rogue Services come to be. There's the company that we built. We started in California, but I lived in Austin before, so I just wanted to come back, right? So what we do differently, we are a nearshore company. We find the right talent. We have the talent in Guadalajara, Mexico. But what we do differently is that at the end of the project, you have the choice to do, right? If you want the team that we built for you, you can take it and be part of your organization. We don't own the talent. If you're already invested like 2 or 3 years in your team, in your culture, you should be able to take the decision to take the team for your company, for your organization. So that's what we do differently. Once you get that, once we finish with the getting the team together and getting the project finished, your organization grows and get your presence in one of the biggest hubs, tech tech hubs in the world outside of the US. This is Guadalajara, Mexico. So that's what we do. We love to find partnerships here or clients. We love you to come back to Guadalajara and get to know what we do, what we own, the pool talent that we have. So that's what we do, and that's it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. There's one more. Okay. Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Dmitro. I'm from Ukraine. I'm founder of the startup which develops a social network with built-in crypto wallets and actually is CBDC ready. Probably not a lot of you understand how significant this stuff is, because CBDC stuff is not on the edge of the news or something like that, but it's a new level of blockchain probably technology. It's not a chain itself, but it's based on distributed ledgers, and CBDC stuff is kind of developed in hundreds of countries around the world. So it's a social network where you can freely operate your funds. You can send money anywhere around the world. You can exchange funds from, let's say, USDC to any other token. Our platform is based on Stellar Distributed Ledger. It's a new technology, not really popular, but it's CBDC ready. And as well as our platform is also based on Stellar Distributed Ledger, we are also CBDC ready platform. CBDC, Ukrainian digital currency, is coming in the end of this year, finally. It was a long journey to wait a little bit. Like it took years to develop. Now the National Bank of Ukraine is ready to launch a pilot project. And as soon as they launch, we are going to be the first social network in the world with the CBDC on board. It's allow people to move their funds in seconds around the world, borderless, zero fees, like that. So our product is live. You can download it in App Store or Google Play. Also, it's available on web version as well. Our startup is like almost 5 years old. We are ready for scaling up, and during the end of this year, hopefully, we are going to scale up quickly to maybe 2 million users, like from 100,000 at the moment. So wish me a luck in this matter. Probably you're going to hear about me on the TV quite soon. Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Yes. All right. Yes, sir.
How you guys doing? Okay, my name is William Moore. I'm a mechanical design engineer for a startup down here in Austin. We have a CIBRA contract for a surveying bot. That's not exactly what I'm here for. So I've been here for a few months now, and something that I've noticed and come to learn about startup founders is that there are all these problems that arise that may be unexpected or unpredictable to some degree, and they have to figure out how to solve these problems. And the two biggest things that I've noticed that are really key for these guys is understanding what skills they need to be able to leverage to solve these problems, and also being able to lean on a network of others in the industry that they can gain help from and help them get through a rough time. So what I'm working on doing is building a community of startup founders. We already exist right now with people in other industries, but we want to really get up into the startup scene. What the community works on is skill acquisition. So we partner with local Austin businesses, and we take small training groups of 3 to 6 people to these selected businesses where they can train together in these different fields. So we operate in 3 realms: the body, the mind, and the spirit. Your problems may arise in any one of those 3 realms, so you should be skilled in dealing with problems in those 3 realms. So your training group decides on a select number of these businesses that we're partnered with to add into your training regiment. You guys can make it once a week, 3 times a week, 5 times a week, however you want to do it. And you and your group of people who you've chosen with, basically your crew of guys, they say that you become the sum of the people you spend the most time with. So you're selecting people to invest time with in learning these skills. And basically the goal is becoming a more well-rounded version of yourself so you can show up better for your business, for your community, for your family. And you're also building a network of other people that have the same goal as you. So you're strengthening your network as well. So the company's called Studs Up Training. We're on Instagram at Studs Up Training. Our website's down right now, but it'll be back up by the end of the week. If you guys are interested in joining a group or starting your own group, so as an individual, you can join an existing group, or if you have a group of people that you want to work out with or learn a new skill or learn a new language or whatever it is, you can come to me and we'll talk about starting a new group out. Okay, so that's Studs Up Training. My name is William Moore. Thank you very much.
All right, so we'll take one more if there's anyone else. Okay. Oh, there's one here. Okay.
Hi there. Ladies and gentlemen, foodies and tech enthusiasts, I'm excited to present to y'all Forked It. I am going to be bringing version control, search engine, and social media to the kitchen. And we're going to do this in a new platform that's going to bring open source to recipes. Now, how do we accomplish this? We first take Gitty, a open source FOSS alternative to GitHub for our back end. And for our front end, we've got a bold neo-brutalist landing page that I am excited to announce is open to waitlist. Now, if any of y'all have ever had the issue of going to look up a recipe and scrolling through someone's entire life story before you could hit that ingredients list, those instructions, that information that you really want to get to, this is for you. If any of you have ever been in a restaurant and have seen how chaotic and how dynamic and how fast-paced that is, and you think that you can take that and make that a little bit smoother, a little bit cleaner, a little bit more organized, this is for you. You can find us online right now at forkedit.com. That's spelled the same as fork, as in the cutlery, and edit, as in an editor. And waitlists are very much appreciated. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, great pitches, everyone. And just a couple of announcements, by the way. So if anyone of you have parked in the garage and need a discount, there's a parking validation that takes your. Oh, there's some parking validations there as well that can take your charge down to $8. So do take those before you leave, and then I'll ask you just maybe a couple of things before you leave. Please, take your glasses or any of the things that you have picked up and drop them in the trash while you leave. And also, finally, thank you all for coming today. And I know there's some great pitches that people have talked about their products and services, and also people that are hiring. So if you know of anyone in your community, in your extended circles that may find those products or services useful, do share the news about those things. And if you like those things, do use it. Give some feedback to the founders. If you don't like those things, also use them and give some feedback to the founders so they can improve their offerings or they can improve their services and products. And finally, for those that announced that they're looking for people that they want to hire, if you have anyone in your extended circles, please do refer them to those folks too. Okay. With that said, I hope you all have had a wonderful evening today. And then before you leave, just one thing in mind. You may not like the sessions that we have, you may not like the content that we have, but one thing you can always take away from this meetup is a new connection that you never had before you entered this room. So please do make at least one new connection, have conversations even beyond this room, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the week. Thank you. All right.
Just gonna give you some just in
Oh,
case. Do you still have a
do
good
the ones
amount?
that you gave me last time, do they still work or?
Yeah, they still do, but I mean, you have a ton of people, so
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
I
good.
trust you.
Put it here.
Hi.
Hey.
How are
Oh,
you?
thanks.
Just thank you for the price.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, I'll send you the email with the code and things
Don't
like that.
worry.
Okay.
We actually came from Portugal.
Oh, okay. Nice to have you here.
We would like to ask, like, do you have any contacts in the PropTech field?
PropTech?
Because we have an established company in Portugal. It's a startup. It's now like 5 years old.
Oh, okay.
And we are like
Yeah, basically do large